The interesting part was the profession I'm currently in. I'm a user experience designer. This profession did not exist when I graduated from NID many years ago, almost 2 decades plus. Interestingly, this profession itself would not take shape for another 10 years after I graduated. And it would have many names like human computer interaction and information architecture, so on and so forth. I mean, there was a lot of kind of debate and what should this be. But interestingly, it finally took shape. I'm a user experience designer, interaction designer, call it what you will, somewhat interchangeable terms per se. And I actually did my bachelor's from NID some years after Bala and Sanjeev was here, several years I might say, to in typography and type design. I never really ended up working in typography or type design, but that led me to branding, my interest in computing, writing programs. I actually learned how to code while I was in Mauritius, in South Africa. Went off to the UK, did my own consulting company there, almost a decade lived there. So interestingly, when I was graduating, I'm sure this must have been the case for Bala and for Sanjeev and for others who are in the design field. It was very unclear as to what you would end up with. So in retrospect, my parents definitely took a leap of faith. Today, I have a title of senior vice president, and that I think designers would never get that kind of titles ever. That was reserved for an MBA. You had to have finance, and you would have to have like lots of number crunching abilities to be able to get into those kinds of titles or roles, etc. But I think times they are changing. That's probably all I can say. When I was graduating, I think there were two options. Either I have a consulting studio of my own, or I join a bigger agency, an ad agency, for instance, and that's where it is. But increasingly, that has changed a lot in the last 20 years, especially the last 10 years. I would say it has accelerated a lot. Part of it probably has been computing and computers and the rise of machines. I'll touch upon a few of these topics which are close to my heart, and this would be around bots, around jobs being taken away, around philosophers and poets actually earning a lot of money now. So there's a bunch of things that I'll talk about briefly. But interestingly, I think what happened is as the techies or techno geeks kind of realized that products were getting more consumerized and they were not really mainframe computers, and you could actually have a more powerful computing machine in your hand than what was there in Apollo, the moon. I think suddenly it changed. How do you make this accessible? How do you make it usable? How do you make it useful? And I think designers actually helped create that bridge between the technologists and the users, and we became the middle guys who were trying to help uncover things one for the other. And increasingly, I think user experience design designers are one of the most sought after professionals today. I mean, I find it hard to hire some of them, and we kind of keep chasing good professionals all the time. All design leaders that I meet in my conference or otherwise keep talking about it's really hard to hire designers. How do you find designers? How do you find UX designers and so on? So I think it's an interesting turn of events from the time when one is that it will not be as it is today. It will actually evolve. Designers will do a lot more things. When we were growing up, and I'm sure for many of you here, when you talk about the word robot, it meant something which looked very human, and it had arms and legs and similar eye kind of thing, and it did a human-like thing, but it created efficiency, never getting tired out, and we probably had a lot of Robocop movies and all sorts of movies around robots. Robots today are almost invisible. They're the bots who live in your computer, in your phone. They're lines of code. They actually kind of are robots without hands and feet. There's been always a concern that, hey, will robots take away our jobs? And in some ways, there's been a lot of debate, and I think, and I keep reading a lot of this, is that the kinds of jobs that robots might not be able to take away is design and creativity and philosophy and ethics and poetry. These are something which robots, very hard for robots to be programmed to ever understand and appreciate in flowery language or in beautiful designs or in visual design. So is design one of those things which will kind of survive the robot or the artificial intelligence onslaught? We'll see, because a lot of other professions are in danger. The number crunching definitely may be there because they bring far more power and value and speed to number crunching. I mean, far more than we could ever do in a human sense. So I think that's an interesting one. Design itself is changing, and I think today many of you were thinking about either as yourselves or for your sons and daughters. I think this profession will again keep changing per se. It will actually go into newer realms where we're talking about virtual reality, we're talking about augmented reality, we're talking about ways in which we can talk about safety, understand things. So right now, what you see, what I do in my day job essentially is helping sell more holidays and more tickets and more hotels and so on, which is obviously what most designers do. We sell something for someone. We help sell maybe more books. We probably help people get into a movie theater. Maybe we help create catalogs and so on. Maybe sort of a Flipkart or an Amazon and so on. So that's one realm of it, but other realms are there. So in our conference, a lot of people come in and talk about how do I understand and make sense of data, which is, let's say, a budget, and how does that get presented to the common man? So there is probably an education angle to it. There are people who are working with maps and cartography, especially in real time. And this, again, if I think about 20 years back, cartography, there were not many takers. Today, you name it, whether it's Swiggy or it's Zomato or it's Google, maps are integral. There are companies which are kind of based on maps and visualizing data around maps, not just to sell things, but also to sort of see what happens in case of a disaster, what happens when something goes wrong, or what happens, how can I simulate sort of practices. So there's a lot of very interesting work which is happening, which is beyond just selling things, which are in the realm of education, in the realm of future research, which today are actually getting well paid for. So I think that's another very, very good thing, like companies like Alphabets, which are essentially taking bets on big future sort of based projects. I think these are again sort of interesting areas, as are governments who are kind of getting into this as well. So if I were to sort of sum it up, and I'm keeping this brief, and hopefully I think I can answer some of your questions more, is that design is in a very interesting place, something we did not envision it would go before. Similarly, I think Bala mentioned that I do help a lot of companies, investees. So I was a designer in a venture capital. I'm still connected with them. Interestingly, I wouldn't have thought at any point of time that I will end up in a venture capital, or at least at the point of leaving NID, I did not know what a venture capitalist was. I'm sure many of you didn't talk kind of. And I think that's again a current invention. So in another 10 years, another 7 years, another 15 years, we will see more and more and very different sorts of designers. And interestingly, design education, because of the nature of its of the beast itself, is that it essentially is very fungible. It takes in a lot of inputs from different things, mixes it all up, and it's probably very well positioned, right fair and square in the middle of maybe accounting and medical and ethics and philosophy at one end, to the consumer, to education, to research at the other end. How can I take something complex, difficult, make it easy to consume, easy to understand? So I think if I were to say something in sort of wrapping up, great area to be, never been a more exciting time to be a designer. I definitely think the future is really bright, and I'll open up the floor for questions really.